Imagine going through life with the belief that every setback, every obstacle, and every challenge wasn't just something to endure, but something preparing you for something greater. At first glance, that might sound like one of those feel-good quotes you quickly scroll past on your social media feed. But what if I told you this isn't just a catchy phrase? It's a core idea rooted in a powerful and ancient philosophy that has guided some of history's greatest minds. I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy that doesn't merely teach us how to endure pain or hardship, but how to transform it, how to turn our struggles into sources of strength. Today, we're diving deep into the essence of Stoicism, exploring how this timeless wisdom can serve not just as a source of comfort in dark times, but as a practical daily compass for living with meaning, resilience, and inner peace. Whether you're navigating personal difficulties, facing professional setbacks, or simply dealing with the everyday turbulence of modern life, the teachings of the Stoics provide a roadmap, not just to survive, but to grow and thrive. They show us that the path to a more fulfilling life doesn't require us to control everything around us, but to master how we respond within. So if you've ever felt like you're constantly pushing against the current, if you've searched for calm in the middle of chaos, or if you've ever been curious about how ancient wisdom can guide us through the complexity of the modern world, then you're exactly where you need to be. Join me as we explore the enduring power of Stoicism, how to use its principles to turn adversity into advantage, to live with purpose and strength, and to rise above whatever stands in our way. This is more than just philosophy, it's a way of life. So, while we take this transformative journey together, I invite you to subscribe and stay with us through every step. Each moment is designed to inspire, challenge, and empower, and you won't want to miss a single part of this life-changing exploration. Number 1, your limits, the power of asking, why not? Have you ever noticed yourself coasting, settling for less than what you're truly capable of? It's a familiar pattern. We drift through days, weeks, even years, without stopping to question the limits we've unconsciously placed on ourselves. But that's where a deceptively simple question, why not, can change everything. It's a small phrase, yet it holds the power to unravel years of complacency, fear, and self-imposed boundaries. Now, let's weave in a Stoic perspective. The Stoics didn't passively accept life as it came. They were deeply reflective and intentional. They constantly examined their lives, their choices, and their habits through the lens of virtue, discipline, and growth. When a Stoic stood at a crossroads, they didn't ask, "What's easiest?" They asked, "Why not take the path that leads to excellence?" This mindset wasn't about reckless risks, but about thoughtful, purpose-driven decisions that aligned with their values and their highest potential. So when you find yourself hesitating, uncertain about whether to take that next step, start that new project, or pursue something bold, pause and ask yourself, why not? Why not go for that opportunity? Why not take that leap of faith toward your dreams? These moments of hesitation are where our future is shaped, where possibility is born. But here's the real shift. Asking, why not, isn't just about external goals. It's about the internal stories we tell ourselves, the doubt, the fear of failure, the comfort of the familiar. It's about confronting the quiet voices that whisper, "You're not ready," or "You're not good enough." And it's about replacing those voices with a new narrative, one that's fueled by courage, curiosity, and self-belief. The Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, didn't settle for a life of ease. They sought the path of virtue, resilience, and inner strength. They welcomed challenges as the proving ground of character. And when you ask yourself, why not, you're doing the same. You're stepping into the arena of life, ready to engage fully, to grow through discomfort, and to pursue excellence on your terms. So next time you hesitate, remember this. You have the power to rewrite the story. You have the strength to go beyond what you think you're capable of. Embrace the Stoic spirit. Ask yourself, why not? And see just how far your drive and dedication can take you. Number 2, relentless growth, the Stoic pursuit of self-mastery. In the world of Stoicism, the drive to continuously improve aligns perfectly with the concept of prokopton, the idea that we are always in the process of becoming, always evolving, always a work in progress. The Stoics didn't chase perfection, they focused on consistent, intentional growth. They believed in concentrating on what they could control, their actions, their values, and their responses to life's inevitable challenges. And that's exactly what I'm encouraging you to pursue, a mindset of relentless, steady progress. Think about it. Growth is the foundation of everything that truly matters, whether you're honing your craft, building stronger relationships, or cultivating inner peace. Improvement lies at the core of a meaningful life. When you become deeply committed to becoming better, you're living out the Stoic virtue of self-mastery. You're choosing to evolve not because you crave external praise or validation, but because it's the most honest, powerful expression of who you are and what you stand for. But let's be clear, being obsessed with getting better doesn't mean being harsh or overly critical of yourself. It means committing to your evolution with compassion and persistence. It's about celebrating the wins, no matter how small, while maintaining the hunger to reach your next level. And yes, there will be obstacles, there will be failures, but true Stoicism teaches us to see those setbacks not as reasons to quit, but as essential parts of the journey, lessons that refine us, not define us. So how do you nurture this obsession with progress? Begin by setting meaningful goals that align with your core values. Reflect daily, examine your choices, your mindset, and your direction. Ask yourself, am I growing? Am I becoming who I truly want to be? Embrace adversity not as a threat, but as a training ground for your potential. Stay curious, stay open, continue learning, adapting, and refining. Because growth has no finish line, there's always a deeper level to explore, a new skill to build, another virtue to embody. In this endless pursuit, we find a deeper kind of fulfillment, not tied to external rewards, but rooted in the inner joy of knowing we are becoming more than we were yesterday. So let's embrace this way of life. Let's inspire each other to keep pushing, to keep reaching, and to show up each day with purpose, integrity, and a fire to grow. This is more than a mindset, it's a movement. Let's walk this path together. Number 3, give it everything. The Stoic way of wholehearted living. Stoics are often admired for their resilience, their discipline, and their unwavering dedication to their values. But there's something deeper that sets them apart. When they commit to something, they commit fully. They don't pursue their goals for applause or praise. They pour themselves into their efforts because they understand that true virtue lies in wholehearted dedication. For the Stoics, the value of an action isn't defined by its outcome, but by the sincerity and depth of one's commitment to it. To give it everything you've got means to engage with life fully, to bring your energy, your attention, and your spirit to whatever you do. It's a choice to live with intention rather than drifting on autopilot. It's about taking ownership of your path, knowing that every thought, every decision, and every action is a step toward shaping your destiny. It's not just about dreaming big, it's about acting with boldness and courage, even when the road ahead is uncertain or difficult. But giving it your all isn't just about the amount of effort, it's also about the quality of that effort. It's about how you show up. Whether you're building something meaningful, spending time with someone you love, or working on personal growth, it's about being fully present. It's about bringing sincerity, passion, and integrity into the way you move through life. And when challenges arise, as they always do, it's about standing firm, drawing strength from within, and choosing resilience over retreat. So how do you begin living with this kind of commitment? Start by identifying what matters most, your core values, your highest goals, your truest passions. Then make the decision to pursue those things with everything you've got. Set a standard for yourself that reflects your deepest convictions, not out of pressure or perfectionism, but because you're called to live a life of meaning and authenticity. Giving it your all isn't a moment, it's a mindset. It's a way of showing up every day with purpose, presence, and power. It's a daily act of self-respect, of honoring your potential by refusing to settle for half-effort or mediocrity. And when you live this way, you'll find not only progress toward your goals, but a deeper, more lasting fulfillment in the journey itself. So let's walk this path together. Let's inspire one another to show up fully, to lead with heart, and to create lives filled with purpose, impact, and virtue. Because in the end, What defines us isn't just what we accomplish, but who we become through the effort. Number 4, stay the course. The Stoic commitment to purpose. In a world overflowing with distractions, temptations, and countless reasons to stray, it can be incredibly difficult to remain focused. But this is where true power lies. When you choose to stay on your path despite the noise, despite the chaos, you're making a profound declaration. You're honoring your journey, your values, and your highest self. The Stoics understood that life would constantly pull at our attention, trying to lead us away from our deeper purpose. Yet they also recognized the quiet strength that comes from remaining committed not just to outcomes, but to living with integrity and intention. For the Stoics, staying on your path wasn't simply about achieving goals. It was a daily practice of character. It meant being guided by principle rather than impulse, and choosing to walk the road of virtue even when it was steep or uncertain. So what does that look like in your life? It means getting crystal clear about who you are, what you believe in, and what kind of legacy you want to build. It means setting your compass based on purpose, not popularity, on values, not validation. But let's be real, life isn't linear. Staying on your path doesn't mean being rigid or refusing to adapt. It means staying anchored to your core while remaining flexible in how you move. Storms will come, plans will shift, and you'll face moments where you question everything. And that's okay. The key is to ensure that every course correction still points toward your true north, your values, your vision, your purpose. So how do you ensure you're walking your path with intention? It begins with self-awareness. Take the time to define your values, clarify your goals, create a personal vision that inspires you and revisit it often. Let it be your guide when decisions feel heavy or life gets overwhelming. Then cultivate the discipline to act in alignment with that vision, especially when it's difficult, when it requires sacrifice, or when others don't understand. That's when it matters most. And remember, resilience is your ally. When setbacks happen, don't see them as signs to give up. See them as invitations to grow stronger, to go deeper, to recommit. Every challenge you overcome is proof that you're becoming the person you were meant to be. So stay the course. Walk your path, not perfectly, but intentionally. Because in a world full of distractions, the greatest act of power is to live on purpose. Number 5, detach from results. The Stoic path to true success. We're often taught to keep our eyes firmly on the finish line, to measure our worth and progress by the results we achieve. Promotions, accolades, likes, wins, these are the metrics most of us are trained to chase. But what if true power lies not in the outcome, but in how we show up? What if there's a deeper kind of freedom waiting for us when we release our grip on results? This is where Stoicism offers a transformative insight. It invites us to shift our focus from what we cannot control, external outcomes, to what we can, our effort, our mindset, and our character. The Stoics made a clear distinction between what lies within our control and what doesn't. Our thoughts, intentions, actions, that's our domain. But the outcomes, they're shaped by countless variables beyond our influence. When we obsess over results, we chain our happiness to something we can't command. And that's a recipe for disappointment, frustration, and burnout. So what does it actually mean to stop focusing on outcomes? It means giving your full energy, presence, and heart to whatever you're doing. Not because of the result you're chasing, but because you value the act itself, whether it's a creative project, a career move, a relationship, or a personal goal. The Stoic path is about committing to the process. It's about pouring yourself into the moment and engaging with each step, each challenge, each opportunity for growth with presence and purpose. There's something incredibly liberating about doing your best simply because it's who you are, not because of what you might gain. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom, finding fulfillment in effort, not outcome. It's about living in alignment with your values and trusting that the outcome, whatever it may be, is secondary to the kind of person you're becoming along the way. Now, let's be clear. Stoicism doesn't ask us to abandon goals or stop caring. It simply reframes what success looks like. Did you act with courage, with wisdom, with integrity? Did you show up fully and grow in the process? These are the real indicators of success, not trophies, not titles, but the inner transformation that comes from living with purpose. So how do you begin to live this way? Start by anchoring your goals in values, not just outcomes. Think about the person you want to become, rather than just what you want to achieve. Then, when you feel anxious or discouraged by how things are turning out, pause, ask yourself, am I showing up with intention? Am I living true to my principles? Redirect your energy back to the effort, back to what's in your hands. In doing so, you'll discover a rare kind of peace. The peace that comes not from controlling everything, but from controlling what truly matters: yourself. Number 6, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. Imagine if your life was a mirror, one that doesn't just reflect what you show to the world, but what you truly carry within. Your thoughts, emotions, and character traits aren't invisible forces. They shape your reality. When you're consumed by fear, bitterness, or negativity, these internal patterns inevitably spill into your experiences. On the flip side, when you embody virtues like kindness, resilience, and integrity, your external world begins to reflect those same qualities. You attract not just what you desire, but what you are. This idea sits at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics taught that while you can't always control the events around you, you can absolutely control who you choose to be in the face of them. They believed in building a strong inner foundation, a character rooted in virtue, as the path to a good and meaningful life. Rather than chasing fleeting outcomes or external validation, they focused inward, developing the kind of person who naturally draws a life of depth, connection, and purpose. So how do you begin to live this out? This principle that you attract what you embody? It starts with self-awareness. Regularly reflect on your mindset, your behaviors, and your emotional responses, but do so with compassion, not judgment. Look at the areas where you're thriving and gently identify the parts of yourself that still need growth. Then, take conscious action to cultivate the virtues you admire: courage in difficult moment, discipline in pursuit of your goals, or empathy and patience in your relationships. Living this way isn't about perfection. You're human. You will stumble, but what matters is how you respond. Whether you allow setbacks to define you or use them as fuel for growth. Embodying the Stoic mindset means choosing to align your daily actions with your deepest values, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. It's about choosing progress over ease, purpose over distraction. And here's the powerful part. As you grow and embody the virtues you value, your life begins to change. Not because you forced it from the outside, but because you've transformed from within. You begin to see the world respond in kind, relationships deepen, opportunities arise, challenges feel more manageable. Why? Because you've become the kind of person who naturally attracts those outcomes. So don't just chase what you want, become it. Build the internal life that reflects the world you hope to live in. That's the Stoic path. That's the journey of transformation. Number 7, the obstacle isn't the end, it's the beginning. Now, think back to the obstacles you've faced in your life. We all have them, whether they're small daily frustrations or life-altering setbacks. Our instinctive reaction to these moments might be frustration, discouragement, or even despair. But what if we flip that perspective? What if every obstacle was actually a disguised opportunity, a hidden gift waiting to unlock your next level of growth? That's the essence of this powerful Stoic principle. When the Stoics spoke about obstacles, they weren't sugarcoating life's hardships. They knew struggle. They experienced loss, failure, and suffering just like we do. But they also believed something deeper, that within every obstacle lies the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The obstacle itself doesn't define us. It's our response to it that shapes our path. When we begin to see obstacles not as stop signs but as stepping stones, we move from being passive victims of circumstance to active creators of our destiny. So, how do you apply this idea that the obstacle is the way in your own life? Start by reframing how you see challenges. When something hard shows up, don't rush to resist or avoid it. Instead, pause and ask, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? That simple shift in mindset changes everything. Suddenly, that frustrating delay or painful loss isn't just a burden. It's an opportunity to build resilience, patience, and creativity. You stop seeing challenges as walls and start seeing them as climbing holds, tools for your ascent. The Stoics taught that the most rewarding paths often include the steepest climbs. It's the struggle, the grind, the persistence through pain that forges our character. Every challenge gives you a chance to live your virtues, to practice courage, patience, discipline, and adaptability in real time. It's not about pretending things aren't hard. It's about growing stronger because they are. And here's another key truth. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come from your biggest breakdowns. Obstacles force us to think differently, to push boundaries, to uncover strengths we didn't know we had. They stretch us, they expand us. And through that expansion, we evolve. When you embrace the Stoic mindset, you also start to cultivate gratitude for your challenges. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you see its purpose. You recognize that some of life's most profound lessons emerge not when things are easy, but when you're tested. The journey becomes more meaningful, not in spite of the hardships, but because of them. So next time you face an obstacle, remember, this isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. Number 8, the power of small steps. In the vast landscape of life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of our ambitions, by the weight of the challenges we face, or by the pressure to make a significant impact. We might find ourselves thinking, what difference can my small effort possibly make? But here's the truth. Every great achievement is made up of countless small actions. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that we don't control the grand outcomes. We only control our choices in each moment. Their wisdom urges us to live in the present, to focus on what is right and necessary now without being paralyzed by the size of the goal or discouraged by how far we have to go. Do what little you can is not a dismissal of ambition. It's a powerful call to action. It's a reminder to show up, to engage with life purposefully, and to contribute, no matter how humble or modest our effort may seem. So how do we embody this principle in our daily lives? It begins with breaking down overwhelming tasks into small, achievable steps. Focus on what's within reach today. Maybe it's a single honest conversation, a few pages written, or a small act of kindness. These may seem minor in isolation, but stacked over time they create powerful momentum. The key is consistency and persistence, not the scale of any one action. This Stoic mindset also shifts how we measure progress. Instead of chasing distant outcomes, we learn to value the process itself. We become more present, more mindful, and often more effective. The journey becomes less about grand milestones and more about showing up fully each day, doing what we can with intention and integrity. And in practicing this, we develop both humility and resilience. We accept that we are not omnipotent, but we are not powerless either. We recognize our limited control, yet affirm our capacity to act meaningfully. We learn to adapt, to endure, and to trust the quiet power of steady effort. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the scope of your dreams or the weight of your responsibilities, pause and remember. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to do something. Do what little you can, and let those small steps carry you forward. Number 9, redefine success. Pursue meaning, not recognition. In today's world, success is often equated with material wealth, prestigious job titles, or the number of followers we have on social media. It's easy to get caught up in this external measure of success and forget what truly matters. But what if we took a step back and questioned what success really means? The Stoics offer us a powerful alternative. True success is not about accumulating possessions or impressing others. It's about cultivating a strong character, living in harmony with nature, and fulfilling our roles as human beings. It's about being honest, courageous, and wise, regardless of our circumstances. This perspective on success is incredibly empowering because it puts the power back in our hands. We may not be able to control the economy, the job market, or what others think of us, but we always have control over our virtues and actions. So, how do we begin to change our definition of success? It starts with introspection. Take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you and the kind of person you want to become. Consider the qualities you admire in others and aspire to cultivate in yourself. Then, set goals that align with these values, goals focused on your personal growth and how you can positively impact the lives of those around you. Redefining success also means appreciating the process, not just the outcome. Celebrate your efforts, resilience, and progress, even if they don't immediately lead to external rewards. Success in Stoicism is as much about how you respond to challenges and setbacks as it is about achieving your objectives. It's about maintaining integrity and equanimity, regardless of external conditions. Additionally, by changing your definition of success, you open the door to greater fulfillment and happiness. When you stop chasing external validation, you free yourself to focus on what truly brings joy and satisfaction. You'll likely discover that pursuing virtue and engaging meaningfully with the world is far more rewarding than any material accomplishment could ever be. Number 10. Stop chasing approval. In today's world, where approval and validation are constantly sought through likes, follows, and praise, it's easy to lose ourselves, to drift from our core values and motivations just to be liked. But Stoicism offers a powerful alternative. It reminds us that our self-worth and decisions should be rooted in our own principles and virtues, not in the ever-changing opinions of others. The Stoics taught that seeking approval is a subtle form of slavery. When we tie our self-esteem to what others think, we surrender our power. We become prisoners of their expectations, letting their judgments shape our actions and identity. But when we free ourselves from this need for validation, we gain something priceless: authenticity and inner freedom. We begin to live according to what we truly believe is right, not what will win us popularity. So, how do we begin to let go of this need to be liked? First, we need to develop self-awareness. Understand your motivations. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I believe it's right or because I want approval? This kind of introspection isn't easy. It requires honesty and courage, but it's essential if we want to live with integrity. Next, we must build confidence in our own judgment. The Stoics emphasized using reason and wisdom as our compass. When you trust your own thoughtful decisions, you become less dependent on the approval of others. You can hold your ground, even when misunderstood, because your actions come from deeply held values. It's also important to accept a hard truth. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. In fact, it's natural. Each of us has different beliefs, backgrounds, and priorities. Trying to please everyone only leads to self-betrayal. You'll find yourself constantly shifting, molding, and losing sight of who you are. Instead, when you choose to live authentically, you begin to attract people who appreciate you for who you really are, relationships grounded in mutual respect and shared values. And even when you face criticism or rejection, you'll find strength in knowing you stayed true to your principles. Because in the end, the Stoics remind us, real peace doesn't come from being liked by everyone. It comes from liking who you are. Number 11. Embrace the power of saying no. Focus on what truly matters. In a world constantly pulling at our attention, time, and energy, learning to say no is one of the most essential skills we can develop. Saying no isn't just about rejecting things we don't want to do. It's a clear affirmation of our values, our priorities, and our autonomy. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is truly important and within our control. At times, this means declining requests, opportunities, or demands that don't align with our core values. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, which included recognizing and respecting our own limits. They understood that our time and energy are finite resources and that we must be selective about where we invest them. Thus, saying no becomes an act of discernment, a commitment to dedicating ourselves to what is meaningful and beneficial, rather than to what is simply urgent or requested. But let's be honest, saying no can be incredibly challenging. It takes courage, especially when we're conditioned to please others, or when we fear missing out or disappointing someone. The Stoic approach, however, encourages us to value our own judgment. It teaches us to make decisions grounded in reason and virtue, rather than out of fear or the need for social approval. When we say no with calm conviction, we're not just turning down an offer, we're making a statement about our priorities and our commitment to living authentically. So, how do we get better at saying no? It begins with clarity, knowing what we stand for, what we value, and what we are working toward. When we have a strong sense of direction and personal principles, it becomes much easier to discern which requests align with our goals and which ones don't. And remember, saying no doesn't have to be harsh or confrontational. It can be done with kindness and respect, thanking the person for their offer while politely declining. Practicing saying no can be liberating. It frees us from unnecessary commitments, allowing us to focus on what really matters. It also strengthens our self-respect as we learn to honor our own boundaries and needs. Surprisingly, it can also earn us more respect from others, who will recognize our clarity of purpose and integrity. Number 12. Mastering the art of letting go with equanimity. How can we truly embrace the art of letting go with indifference? The key lies in understanding and internalizing the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. We can control our efforts, our attitudes, and our virtues, but we cannot control outcomes, the actions of others, or the unpredictable whims of fate. Once we truly grasp this truth, we begin to free ourselves from the frustration, anxiety, and disappointment that come from clinging to things beyond our reach. But let's be clear, letting go with indifference doesn't mean not caring about anything. It means deeply caring about the right things, the things that are truly within our control, and accepting the rest with equanimity. It's about investing our energy wisely, putting our passion and efforts into actions, and letting go of any attachment to the results. Imagine how much lighter you would feel if you stopped agonizing over every small setback, if you stopped getting caught up in dramas that don't truly concern your core duties and values. This is the liberation Stoicism offers, a path to inner peace and resilience, no matter what life throws your way. So, how can we cultivate this art of letting go with indifference? It begins with mindfulness, paying attention to our reactions, and gently reminding ourselves to distinguish between what's in our power and what's not. It requires practice, too. Like any skill worth mastering, we can start small, with the minor annoyances of daily life, and gradually work our way up to bigger challenges. As we practice, we'll likely discover something remarkable. The less we try to control the uncontrollable, the more control we actually have over ourselves and our responses. We'll find a new sense of calm and clarity, even amid chaos. By embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, we learn that our greatest strength lies within us, in our ability to choose how we respond, to focus on what truly matters, and to let go with grace. Remember, the path to tranquility and fulfillment isn't found in external accolades or possessions, but in the cultivation of virtue, resilience, and inner peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey. As part of Not Born Wise, continue exploring and deepening your understanding by watching one of the suggested videos on the screen. Together, we grow stronger, wiser, and more grounded in the principles that guide us toward a life of purpose and meaning, because we're not born wise.